My mother died on a Tuesday. Breast cancer. She fought for 2 years. I was with her at the end, holding her hand. My brother Jason wasn't. He was too busy with work, too busy with his life, too busy to say goodbye. The funeral was on Friday. Small. Just family and a few friends. Mom didn't want anything big, just a simple service and cremation. Jason barely spoke to me the whole time. Just stood there in his expensive suit, checking his phone between eulogies. Before we continue, I just want to say thank you for being here. If you're finding value in this story, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss more stories like this. And drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. Now, let's dive right in. After the funeral, we went back to Mom's house. The house we grew up in. The house she'd lived in for 40 years. Jason walked through it like he was appraising real estate. Looking at the furniture, the paintings, the condition of the floors, calculating value in his head. He said we needed to talk about the house. I asked if we could wait. Mom had only been gone for 3 days, but Jason insisted there was no point in waiting. The mortgage needed to be paid. Bills needed to be handled. Decisions needed to be made. His plan was simple. Sell the house, split the proceeds, move on. I reminded him that I'd been living there for the past 2 years taking care of Mom. He dismissed it with a wave of his hand. Mom was gone now. Time for me to get my own place. When I protested that I'd given up my job and my apartment to care for her, he said nobody had asked me to do that. It was my choice. He had a career, he explained. Responsibilities at his tech company. He couldn't just drop everything like I could. The way he said it made it clear. He thought his VP position was more important than caring for our dying mother. More important than my retail job. More important than being there. He gave me 60 days to find somewhere else to live. The house was in both our names per the will, he said, and we were selling it. But a week later, he changed his mind. Suddenly it was 2 weeks. The market was hot. We needed to move fast. He was listing the house immediately. I was devastated. I had nowhere to go. My old apartment was rented out. I didn't have much money. The 2 years caring for Mom had drained my savings completely. I couldn't afford first and last month's rent, deposits, moving costs. My friend Sarah offered to let me stay with her temporarily, but I knew I couldn't impose on her for long. I spent days packing Mom's things. Every item held a memory. Her favorite sweater, the mug she used every morning, the books she loved. I couldn't just throw them away like Jason wanted. He kept bringing the realtor around, discussing staging and market value, suggesting we get rid of most of the furniture. One afternoon, I was finally packing up Mom's closet. I'd been avoiding it because it was too painful. At the back, behind her winter coats, I found a box I'd never seen before. Heavy, taped shut. My name written on top in Mom's shaky handwriting. The note said, "For Megan. Do not open until after I'm gone." Inside were documents, letters, and a key. The first letter was addressed to me, dated 3 months before she died. Mom's letter explained everything. The house wasn't in both our names like Jason believed. 2 years ago, when I moved in to care for her, she'd had her lawyer draw up new documents. The house was mine. Only mine. Jason didn't know because she never told him. She knew he'd make a scene. After everything I'd sacrificed, she wrote, I deserved it. The deed was in the box, signed, notarized, legal. The house was completely mine. Jason had no claim to it whatsoever. There was also a key to a safety deposit box at First National Bank. Inside, she said, were things she'd been saving for me. She thanked me for being there when she needed me most, for choosing her over everything else. She called me the best daughter a mother could ask for. I read it 3 times, tears streaming down my face. Then I examined the deed. She was right. A new deed dated 2 years ago. transferring the house solely to me. Jason's name appeared nowhere on it. There were more letters in the box. One to Jason explaining her decision, one to her lawyer with instructions, one to her financial advisor. Mom had planned everything carefully. I called her lawyer Mr. Patterson. He confirmed everything. The house was legally mine. Jason was never entitled to it. The property had been transferred out of the estate before Mom died as a gift to me. The will Jason kept citing only covered what remained in the estate. About $5,000 and some personal items. But the house had never been part of that. The next day, I took the key to First National Bank. The safety deposit box contained another letter and a checkbook. Mom explained that she'd been saving for years, small amounts from her limited income. She'd opened a separate account in only my name, $50,000, enough to cover property taxes for years, enough for repairs, enough to give me breathing room. She wrote that she knew Jason would try to take everything. This was my protection, my security. I should never tell him about it. I went home and continued packing, but now I was packing to stay, to move into Mom's room permanently. When Jason came by 2 days later, he was annoyed I was still there. He reminded me about the 2-week deadline, said the realtor was bringing buyers the next day. I told him to cancel it. When he demanded to know why, I handed him the deed. He read it slowly. His face went from confused to red. He insisted it was fake. Mom wouldn't do this, wouldn't cut him out. I told him to call Mr. Patterson if he didn't believe me. The deed was legal. The house was never part of the estate. Jason exploded. He threw the papers at me and started yelling about elder abuse, about how I'd manipulated her, taken advantage of a sick woman. He was going to contest this, fight me in court. I stayed calm and told him I'd taken care of Mom while he was too busy to visit. She'd made this decision because she knew what I'd sacrificed and what he hadn't. I hadn't turned her against him. He'd done that himself by not being there. He called me a manipulative bitch and stormed out, slamming the door so hard that one of Mom's framed photos fell and shattered. Jason did hire a lawyer and contest the deed. He claimed I'd coerced Mom, that she wasn't of sound mind, that I'd isolated her and poisoned her against him. But Mr. Patterson had anticipated this. He'd documented everything. Medical records proving Mom was competent. A video of her explaining her reasoning. Multiple witnesses. Everything needed to prove this was her choice, made freely and with full understanding. The case was dismissed within 3 months. Jason's claims were baseless. The judge ruled that Mom had every right to give her property to whomever she chose. Jason had to pay his own legal fees, about $20,000 trying to take something that was never his. We haven't spoken since. He sent one email after the ruling. "You stole my inheritance. You're dead to me." I wrote back once. "I didn't steal anything. Mom gave me what I earned by being there. You got exactly what you deserved." He never responded. I still live in the house. Mom's house. My house now. I kept her bedroom exactly as it was for the first year. Sometimes I'd sit in there and talk to her, tell her about my day, thank her for protecting me. Eventually I turned it into a guest room, but it still feels like hers. I used some of the money Mom left to go back to school, got my nursing degree, 2 years of night classes while working part-time. Now I work at a hospice care facility, helping other families through what we went through. It feels right, like honoring Mom's memory. The house is paid off. I have money in savings. I'm stable in a way I never thought possible after giving up everything to care for Mom. All because she knew. She knew Jason would try to take everything. She knew I'd need protection. She knew that love isn't about genetics or birth order. It's about who shows up, who sacrifices, who stays. Jason got $5,000 from the estate. Exactly what Mom thought his presence during her illness was worth. A precise calculation based on the few obligatory visits he made. The phone calls he was too busy to return. I got the house, the savings, the security. Because Mom valued what I gave. The time, the care, the love. The 2 years I spent making sure she wasn't alone, making sure she was comfortable, making sure she knew she was loved until the end. People say I should reach out to Jason, that family is family, that I should try to mend things. But why? He showed me exactly who he is. Someone who sees family as a transaction, who measures love in dollars, who couldn't say goodbye to his dying mother but wanted to profit from her death immediately. Mom saw it too. She saw how he treated her illness like an inconvenience, how he always had excuses for why he couldn't visit, how he made me feel guilty for asking him to help. She saw all of it, and she made her decision accordingly. She protected me one last time, even from beyond the grave. That's what real love looks like. My brother kicked me out 3 days after Mom died, gave me 2 weeks to pack up and disappear. He was ready to sell our childhood home and pocket half the money without a second thought about what I'd given up. But he didn't know what Mom had left hidden for me. Didn't know about the deed she'd signed 2 years earlier. Didn't know about the safety deposit box or the money she'd been saving. Didn't know that she'd already made sure I'd never have to leave. She protected me one final time, made sure her wishes were clear and legally binding. Made sure I had not just a house, but a future, security, a foundation to rebuild on after giving up so much for her. That's the difference between Jason and me. He thought inheritance was about what you're owed by birth. Mom taught me it's about what you give. And in the end, she made sure we both got exactly what we deserved.